Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very honest with you. Poverty is not just about money. It is about mindset, about habits, about the decisions you make every single day. Most people are not poor because they lack intelligence. They are poor because they hold on to habits that quietly steal their future. And unless we face these habits, no amount of wishing, no amount of waiting will change our life. Complaining instead of acting, the first and most dangerous habit that keeps people poor forever is complaining. You see, complaining is one of those habits that feels good in the moment because it allows you to release your frustration. But it never changes anything. It is like standing in the middle of a storm shouting at the rain, hoping it will stop just because you are upset. People complain about their jobs, their governments, their salaries, their parents, their partners, the economy, and even about people who are successful. They complain that life is unfair, that opportunities are limited, and that the system is against them. And while all of these feelings might have a seed of truth, none of these complaints move them forward even by one step. The harsh truth is that complaining does not solve problems, it multiplies them. When you complain, you are training your brain to focus on what is wrong instead of what you can do. You are building a mental habit of finding excuses instead of finding solutions. Every time you complain about your boss, you are losing the energy you could use to learn a new skill that could get you promoted or even get you out of that job. Every time you complain about how unfair life is, you are giving your power away to circumstances you cannot control. Complaining is like sitting in a car with no fuel, blaming the car for not moving instead of standing up and pushing it or walking to a gas station. We live in a world where it is easier than ever to complain. Social media has made complaining fashionable. People post about their problems, hoping someone will feel sorry for them, hoping someone will agree with them, and this gives them a short burst of satisfaction. But here is the problem: nothing in their life actually changes. They wake up the next morning and the same problem is still sitting there, because problems do not disappear just because we talk about them loudly. If complaining solved problems, the loudest people would be the richest and most successful by now. The difference between people who rise out of poverty and those who stay stuck is simple. The successful ones use their pain as fuel. When they are unhappy with their job, they do not just talk about it, they search for better opportunities. They take night classes. They start learning skills that the market is willing to pay for. When they are frustrated about their financial situation, they look for ways to earn more or spend less. They do not just sit and blame the government. The ones who stay poor keep talking about the same issues year after year, waiting for someone else to come and fix their life. It is not that complaining is completely useless. It can help you identify what you do not like about your life. But stopping there is dangerous. It is like a doctor who diagnoses a disease, but never prescribes the medicine. The purpose of noticing what is wrong is to create a plan to make it right. The moment you find yourself complaining, that should be a signal, a wake-up call, to ask yourself, what can I do about this? If your salary is too low, can you learn a skill that is in demand? Can you network with people in a better position? Can you start a side hustle, no matter how small, that allows you to generate extra income? Think about this: every second spent complaining is a second you could use to make progress. The time you spend blaming the system could be used to build something that makes you independent from the system. The energy you spend gossiping about how bad your boss is could be used to write a business plan that will allow you to become your own boss one day. Complaining gives you the illusion of action, but delivers no results. Taking responsibility, even when it feels unfair, gives you control, gives you direction, and gives you a way out of where you are. Fear of taking risks. The second habit that keeps people poor forever is the fear of taking risks. Fear is one of the most powerful forces shaping human behavior. It is designed to protect us, to keep us safe from danger. But when fear becomes the loudest voice in your mind, it does not just protect you, it traps you. Many people stay in jobs they hate, stay in relationships that drain them, stay in cities where there are no opportunities, simply because they are afraid of the unknown. They are afraid to lose what little security they have, even though that security is the very thing keeping them from living a better life. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, these fears control millions of lives every single day. Most people believe they are cautious, that they are just being wise by avoiding risks. But in reality, what they are avoiding is discomfort. Taking risks means stepping into uncertainty, and uncertainty makes us uncomfortable. It means you might fail, you might look foolish, you might lose time or money, and nobody likes that feeling. But here is the truth. The people who achieve great things are not fearless. They simply act despite their fear. They understand that fear is a signal that growth is near. Fear is often standing guard at the door of the next big opportunity in your life. And if you run away every time you feel fear, you will spend your whole life running in circles. Think about how many ideas die every day because of fear. Someone has a great idea for a small business, but they never start because they are afraid of what their family will say if it fails. Someone has a dream to move to a new city for better opportunities, but they never pack their bags because they are afraid of leaving behind what is familiar. Someone wants to invest in themselves, take a course, learn a skill, start a side hustle, but they hesitate for months, even years, because they are afraid it might not work. And then, 10 years later, they look back and realize they are still in the same place, wishing they had started back when they had the chance. Fear of risk is the silent thief of time. It does not attack you suddenly, it slowly eats away at your opportunities, one by one, until you wake up one day and realize how many doors you never opened. The safest path you think you are on often leads to the biggest regrets. Because safety feels good today, but over time it becomes a trap. The longer you stay in the same place out of fear, the harder it becomes to leave. And by the time most people realize this, years have already passed. We need to change how we think about risk. Risk is not the enemy. It is the price you pay for progress. Every step you take toward a better life will involve some level of risk. When you learn to embrace risk, you give yourself permission to grow. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" start asking, "What if I succeed?" Instead of saying, "I am not ready," start saying, "I will figure it out as I go." No one is ever fully ready when they start. They just decide to begin. The people you admire today, the ones you call successful, did not wait until the fear disappeared. They acted while their hands were shaking. Fear will always whisper in your ear, telling you it is safer to stay where you are. But if you let fear make all your decisions, you will always choose comfort over growth, safety over opportunity, and familiarity over freedom. Life will always present risks, but the greatest risk of all is doing nothing and expecting things to change. The third habit that silently keeps people poor forever is living life without a plan. This might sound simple, but it is one of the biggest reasons why people never break free from the cycle of struggle. Most people wake up every day and let life decide what will happen to them. They wake up because the alarm clock rings. They go to work because they have to pay bills. They come back home exhausted, watch something to escape their reality, go to bed, and repeat the same routine the next day. Weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and nothing changes. Life becomes a loop, and they wonder why success never finds them. The truth is, success never finds anyone. You do not accidentally stumble into a great life. You create it, and creation begins with a plan. Living without a plan is like sailing without a compass. You might be moving, but you have no idea where you are going. You might be working hard, but hard work without direction just leaves you tired, not successful. You could be running as fast as you can on a treadmill, sweating, burning energy, but you are still in the same spot. That is what life looks like without a plan. It feels busy. It feels like you are doing something, but in reality, nothing is changing. You are surviving, not progressing. Some people believe that making a plan is useless because life is unpredictable. Yes, life can surprise us. Yes, unexpected things happen, but that is not a reason to drift. That is a reason to be even more intentional. If you do not have a plan for your money, your time, and your future, someone else will make one for you. Your boss, your landlord, your bank, or even society. You will spend your life working for other people's goals while your own dreams collect dust in the corner of your mind. Having a plan does not mean you will know every step perfectly. It means you will know the direction you are heading, and that alone changes everything. A plan gives you clarity about what matters and what doesn't. When you have a plan, you stop wasting time on things that do not take you closer to your goals. You stop spending money on meaningless things because you know what you are saving for. You stop saying yes to distractions because you know what you need to focus on. Living without a plan also kills motivation. Human beings need a sense of progress to stay alive emotionally. When you wake up every morning and have nothing to look forward to except surviving another day, you slowly lose hope. That is why so many people feel tired even when they are not physically exhausted. They are tired of living the same day over and over again. A plan injects purpose into your life. It gives you something to chase, something to build, something to be proud of. Some people do not make a plan because they are afraid of failure. They say, "What if it doesn't work?" But here is the thing. Even if your plan fails, you are still ahead of the person who never made one. A failed plan teaches you what does not work and helps you adjust. No plan at all teaches you nothing. It keeps you stuck. The key is to start small. Write down where you want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. Break it into steps. Decide what you will do this month, this week, today. When you start living with intention, life begins to move. If you want to escape poverty, you must stop living life on autopilot. You must stop leaving your future to chance and start taking control of it. A plan does not guarantee success, but it guarantees that you will not waste your life wondering what could have been. It guarantees that you will move forward instead of going in circles. And over time, even a small plan, followed consistently, can completely transform the direction of your life. My friends, we have talked about 3 habits that can keep a person poor forever. Complaining instead of acting, fearing risk instead of embracing opportunity, and living life without a plan. These are not just habits, they are invisible chains that hold millions of people back every single day. The truth is, no government, no employer, no family member can break those chains for you. Only you can. Every time you choose to complain about your situation, you give away your power to change it. Every time you choose fear over action, you trade your future for temporary comfort. Every time you live another day without direction, you let life decide for you, and life rarely chooses what is best for you. This is why so many people wake up one day, 20 years later, asking themselves, "How did I end up here?" The answer is simple: they never took back control. But here is the good news. You can decide right now that you will no longer live like this. You can decide that you will no longer waste energy on complaints that do not change anything, that you will no longer wait until the fear goes away before you move forward, that you will no longer drift through life hoping things get better on their own. The moment you make that decision, you take back the driver's seat of your life. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be scary. Change always is the first time you stop yourself mid-complaint and say, "What can I do about this?" It will feel strange. The first time you take a risk, whether it is starting that project, having that difficult conversation, or investing in yourself. Your hands may shake. The first time you sit down to create a plan for your life, you might not even know where to start. But that discomfort is the sign that you are breaking free from the habits that kept you stuck. I want you to imagine your life 5 years from now if you do nothing. Imagine yourself still complaining about the same problems, still too afraid to try, still living day by day with no direction. How does that feel? Now imagine the opposite. Imagine where you could be if you spend the next 5 years taking responsibility, stepping into opportunities despite your fear, and following a plan with discipline. The difference between those two futures is the choice you make today. Your life does not have to stay the same. You are not a tree. You can move, you can grow, you can change direction. The world is full of opportunities, but they only belong to those who are willing to act. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. You do not need to know every step. You just need to begin. The door to a better life will not open until you knock, and sometimes you will need to knock more than once. So decide today to stop wasting your breath on complaints. Decide to do the scary thing before fear talks you out of it. Decide to write a plan for your future, even if it is just 1 page, and follow it with consistency. Because if you do, you will not just escape poverty, you will escape the mindset that kept you there. And when that happens, nothing can stop you from building the life you have always dreamed of.